Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for August 14, 2023, the Odebrecht Strikes Again edition. And we begin with that story from the Wall Street Journal, Risk and Compliance Journal, Dylan Tokar reporting. Prosecutors have said that the Colombian banking group Aval, Grupo Aval, and its banking subsidiary participated in a scheme to bribe officials for a contract to build a highway toll road in northeast Colombia and have agreed to settle an FCPA enforcement action for approximately $80 million. The representatives for Grupo Aval are in agreement with this, and both DOJ and a related SEC civil action have settled. Grupo Aval, this was an outflow from the Odebrecht case, and the charges level against Grupo Aval center on highway infrastructure project that Odebrecht spent $30 million of bribes to try to get in. So Odebrecht still lives. Next up, from the South China Morning Post, a sometimes contributor to the Daily Compliance News, Chinese corruption watchdog has nabbed 160 hospital bosses in a healthcare blitz. More heads are to roll as the investigation continues into the sector, given over $15 billion in public funds during COVID-19. Healthcare spending is among the 3 burdens on China's aging population and one of the biggest sources of government grievances. And indeed, the FCPA world is literally littered with healthcare cases, and U.S. healthcare product providers, service providers, hospital providers, pharmaceutical providers who have all come to grief from corruption in the China hospital and healthcare industry. Next up from Reuters, Sam Bankman-Fried, yes, SBF, is in the news again as his he's been jailed following the revocation of his bail that he engaged in witness tampering. Yes, the world's most annoying criminal defendant finally got caught going a step too far, and the judge revoked his bail and sent him to jail for the remainder of his time up until he goes to trial in October. And finally, from the New York Times, an article on what the Supreme Court decision means to the Purdue Pharma case. This was a bankruptcy settlement which totally absolved the family members of Purdue Pharma. Lots of objections to this, including from the United States Department of Justice. So given the corrupt nature of this Supreme Court, it's unclear what they're going to do to the corrupt Sackler family and whether they will allow justice to move forward or will give them carte blanche of waiver of liability going forward. So, interesting decision by the U.S. Supreme Court. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.